Hello, and welcome to the green team of the Legendarium. Today we are discussing Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K Le Guin, published in 1979. And I'm Little Red Book, and I have with me Hurin
Hey, hey, hey.
and Ashaman.
Hi, everybody.
So, gentlemen, is this your first read?
Yes, it is.
No, not for me. I actually read this book as part of a university science fiction course.
Ooh.
I
That
liked
sounds
it then, and
fun.
I like it more now. Yeah, it was actually a great course. Yeah, a lot of really good sci-fi that I would never have gotten to otherwise. Like the fun short story, "The Machine Stops."
That's a good one.
Yeah, from like the early 20th century
I have not
about
read that one.
giant machine. It's pretty short. I recommend it, especially if you like.
It's very relevant.
It is very relevant. I'll say, yeah, shockingly so.
So, what are your general impressions of this book?
It's like to try to give some subjective experience.
Yes.
Objective only, please.
No, subjective. Did you hate it?
I liked it a lot. It's not my favorite Le Guin. I like that it gave me lots to think about. I like the prose in many instances a lot. I thought it was a little on the nose on a few other parts, but there's definitely a lot to discuss here, and I think it might be the best example of Taoist philosophy in Le Guin's writing that I've read, at least.
I think it might be one of the best like Taoist philosophy books in science fiction or just fiction. Like we don't get many in the West that are
Yeah, but
Taoist.
that's what she's known for, and I think this is like absolutely the most I've seen in a book, at least the most that's obvious and kind of integrated in almost every aspect of the story.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I know nothing about Taoism, so that's not what I took from this book.
It's also very Jungian, which is kind of Taoist in
Yeah,
its
that's
own way.
true. That's true. There's a little Jungian philosophy in there. So this is like the fifth time I've read this book, and I'm going to be really honest. Part of the reason why I love this book is it takes place in my hometown,
That's fair.
and it was published the year I was born. And Ursula is my fellow Portlander, and I just feel at home, but not at home because of the way that the narration goes. It's like so weird to read it and so mind blowing just because of the way things change in the book. But my thought about this was there is no solutions, there are only trade-offs. And that's what I got out of this book, which I don't know that Ursula Le Guin would agree with me, but that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, this actually it feels very like a rainy book. Like that. It really conveys the vibe of the Pacific Northwest, in my opinion. Yeah, I
No,
really like
he
it as
actually
well.
talks about streets that, like, actually exist and restaurants and things that actually happen. I mean, it's weird, but at the same time so, minor spoiler well, no, not gonna go there. Any other thoughts before we do a brief summary that I have totally written?
Yeah. So I really like this book. It's had an impact on me for sure. Like I can tell that my outlook was noticeably shifted after I had read it. When I had read it in university. Yeah, I like all of Le Guin. I like this one has kind of a special place in my heart because it's kind of like it's quite weird. It goes against a lot of storytelling traditions. Like the protagonist is he's not similar to almost any other protagonist in how he reacts.
He's almost not a protagonist. He's almost
Yeah, he's
Everything's happening to him. He's very anti-proactive. I don't know.
he's
What's the word?
passive, sort
Passive.
of.
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, the philosophy that Le Guin explores, I think, is done very well. I think, I mean, Le Guin was just like a very intelligent author. Even if you disagree with her, I think that she brings a lot of good points and a lot of good things to think about. And she writes in a very, she writes in a very unique feeling way and a very mindful and dreamlike way in this book. And I
Which is
just,
apt.
it's very, yeah, absolutely, very apt. And she has a knack for picking the right words for the right situations. And like I highlighted a couple passages and shared them with Lady Ash, and they're just just a lot of warm feelings reading this book.
All of the French diseases of the soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Heather. In fact, I would argue that Heather is the protagonist of the book.
I'd like to hear that argument because I can't agree.
Okay.
I think it's the doctor.
He's the protagonist? You're rooting for him?
I don't think a protagonist is necessarily someone that you're rooting for.
Fair enough. Main character. He's the main character, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm asking more than saying.
I'm saying I think he has a more of a claim to that than Heather.
Mm. So basically, I'm going to do the summary now. Spoilers. A man has dreams. The dreams affect the world. A psychiatrist finds out that he has these dreams that affect the world and starts controlling the dreams. The man finds a lawyer to help him, stopping the doctor from fixing the world through his dreams because he feels it's wrong. Da 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 da. Psychiatrist ends up in a mental hospital because he loses his mind.
When he tries to do the dreaming
When he
himself.
tried to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But so, how do you feel about the narrative? How does it work for you? Do you feel confused?
No, I think Le Guin does a really good job of making you feel like what's or or the story,
Or George Orr?
or if we're in the POV of Haber, it makes you realize like how these kind of layers of reality stack up on top of each other and where we are at the moment. And I think she does a really good job of making that clear. So I was rarely confused. No, I don't think I was confused really at all because she did such a good job.
I think at certain points it's hard to feel grounded within the story because it's so dreamlike and because things are constantly shifting. Like the main characters, with the exception of George Orr, like they're all themselves affected by these dreams, right? And I mean, the most famous part is the most obvious part is when Heather, I mean, she like her personality changes drastically throughout the book, and her skin color changes, and then at one
Well,
point George Orr
everybody's.
thinks like, yeah, everybody's does, but like he thinks that like she was brown, that was a big part of her identity. Now that that's gone,
She doesn't even
this
exist.
is a very different person. Even though he still loves her and he still wants to be with her, and there's still something about her that's still Heather. It's like this is a person that could only have come about through this kind of mixing that had happened.
Right. And I think that one of the things I really hate about the doctor is he just thinks he can fix things. And so I'm going to fix race relations. Poof, everybody's gray. But that's not how people are. One of the things I really like about this book is it tackles human nature.
Hmm.
Like every time you try and fix something, it just makes something else happen that's not good. So we start with a very overpopulated world and then basically, or just has a dream where there's no overpopulation and poof, 6 million people are dead. Like,
Yeah.
ugh, it's kind of, it gives you an ick factor that is good for the story.
When I read that happen, I put it in our chat. I said, "This book is fucked up," because that's fucked
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really
It's
one of the.
very, oh, so many bleeps, and it was not me this time.
And it's like a viral cancer too. It's not even like they died painlessly or whatever. It's like this is a horrible way for these 6 billion people to have died.
Well, and even the doctor is saying, then my wife died, and then and
His
then
whole
in
family.
another timeline, he doesn't even have a wife, but he's like, my wife died, my parents died, my sisters died. I'm the only one left. It's like,
But he doesn't treat it like it's real because, like, to him, it really isn't real. Like, this whole aspect kind of comes off as really metatextually to me. Did anyone feel that way?
I mean,
Yes.
it depends on
Okay.
how you define that, but I think that it's pretty clear that the doctor is a narcissist who doesn't believe anybody else is real.
To
I think it's
me,
good.
I'm thinking of like all of the utopians and these high-minded philosophers who kind of try to do some top-down reasoning, like how should human societies be structured? And then they come at these big, bold ideas, and the world's going to be so much better when these ideas are implemented. And then it turns out human nature comes into play, and everything gets a whole lot messier and a whole lot often bloodier. I mean,
Mhm.
regular listeners will know, like I'm a big fan of the French Revolution. This is exactly what was happening there, right? Like you had these people
Right.
that had big ideas, and these big ideas conflicted with reality, and it ended up with a lot of people dying, even though, like ostensibly, a lot of these ideas were, if human nature was different, they would have been great.
Well, and George Orr keeps saying, "The doctor is benevolent, he means well, he
Hmm.
means well." And yet
Yeah.
everything that And he says, "You're not working with my reason, doctor. You're working with my subconscious, and this is what happens." And that's kind of like the nature of human nature versus, "I have a great idea. We're all equal now," type of thing. Eh, I'm not trying to make it's not superficial. Like this book is a great thought experiment.
Yes. I think it's great for anyone to read if like especially if they're kind of like thinky people and they
Right.
think, "Oh, if only we just did it like this," and then
Right.
everything would be rosy. But like things always end up being more complicated, which is not to say that you should never try to change anything for the better, right?
No.
Obviously, things can get better. But you have to reckon with the fact that you're dealing with humans in an imperfect world, with imperfect information, with imperfect ability to change things. And other people might have different ideas of what you're saying to them.
Like I said, there's no solutions, there's trade-offs. You have to like he makes one thing better. There's no overpopulation, but he kills a bunch of people. But then the people who are alive get to eat better and live better and they're not crowded. It's like
Hmm.
kind of a mind F.
Yeah. Especially when there's the citizens arrest and people are just getting euthanized on the street.
Oh my gosh, right? Cuz they cuz cancer is contagious apparently in this continuum in the book. I
They need
think.
to like purify people's bloodlines. That
I
if you're
know.
genetically susceptible to cancer, then you need to get got.
Like so there are some parts where you're like, "Ooh, this is kind of like Hitlery genocide
Hmm.
genetics." Eugenics is the word I was thinking of. Hurin, you haven't said anything for a while.
Well, I wanted to talk again about Haber. Is I kind of view Haber as somebody who doesn't respect stories. So this power that Orr has is basically being able to turn stories into real life, much like hopefully I think a lot of authors wish that they could do with their stories, and in fact, real life that they do. And I think that Haber is somebody who doesn't respect the power of story and doesn't view like narratives as real forces in and of themselves, and can only see the power of practical power, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think this story is such a good example of what speculative fiction does the best, and that is making metaphor real. And there's actually a section in the book where they're talking about, I think it's Haber talking to Orr about his ability to make the metaphor real inside the story. And then inside, there's another one where a character is remembering a story from a book that she read before the world had changed, and she's wondering if that should affect her, or should she allow it to affect her because that's no longer the case. So the world has
Right.
changed. This thing is no longer a problem, but she still has memories of these problems that really did exist and how they came into story from that previous world. There's just so many layers, and I it's a lot to think about, and it a perfect example of speculative fiction. Thank you, Le Guin.
I think to your point about Haber not respecting stories, one of the first changes that's made is the overpopulation thing. And not only does overpopulation get fixed and
No, that's not one of the first changes. That's after he hires Heather is when that happens.
the overpopulation thing.
Yeah.
Regardless, when the
It's
overpopulation
early in the
thing
book. It's
does get fixed.
one of the biggest first
It's not a
changes.
big book. It's little. It's
It
like
is little. No factories spewed smoke down by the river. No cars ran fouling the air with exhaust. What few there were steamers or battery powered. There were no songbirds anymore either. Just a little thing. No songbirds. And the world becomes a little more gray.
Literally later.
just the way that okay, so there's a president in this book. It's not there the book takes place I want to say in like 1920 or sorry, 2020, not it even so it's not related to anybody who's been political, but he keeps coming up no matter how George dreams, which I find very funny. But anyway, going back to he seems immovable, I think is what she says about him.
Yeah, yes. Whatever else happens, this guy has to be president.
And right, and the geography stays the same always. It's it I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's almost like saying that humans I'm not speaking the words right. There are certain things that are permanent and there are certain things that are mutable. And the geography is permanent and human nature is permanent, but the circumstances are mutable. I'm waving my hands a lot because I don't know exactly what I'm trying to get at.
I think I understand what you're getting at, thanks to your hand waving, so it's effective.
Well, okay, good.
Much like the dreams are effective. You have effective hand waving.
So, who would you want to be in this story?
Nobody.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know. The aliens seem cool. I'd like to be the alien proprietor of one of those little shops.
Like
Yeah,
the guy
they
who
seem pretty
hires
chill,
George at the
and
end.
they kinda
Yeah.
understand what's going on. Like, "Oh, you're the dude." Yeah, we know about the dude.
Yeah, you're the guy who does this thing. Yeah. I mean, I think Le Guin was, in philosophical terms, an idealist. So not an idealist as in someone who has like rosy ideas about things, but there's people who are materialists who think that like stuff is the basis for reality, and then there's idealists who think that minds make up reality, or reality is it comes from people thinking or God thinking or whatever. That reality is like ideas. So I think this fits very well with that, and it would make sense that human nature would stay constant there.
I think she was a commie. In fact, I know she was. But that's fine because actually this book, I think she deals with the tension between community and individuality very well.
Yes, I think this book in a lot of ways is, I think you can read it as a critique of, among other things, the utopian ideals of communism and other political
See,
systems, right?
yeah, right. That's what I like about this book the most is that it feels like she's really dealing with the tensions between different ideologies and like how it's just interesting. But also, you know what? I love so we're going to go back to Heather. I know you don't think she's the protagonist. I love that she describes herself as a Black Widow and the way her character changes, where she's kind of meek at the end, but at the same time, she comes back and she's that same aggressive person. She's the same person. And she's the one who saves George. Orwell, by the way. I mean, he's George Orwell, but we all know what that was a wink at.
I didn't actually. I just thought it was a pun, because George Orr, either or.
I think it is also a
No,
pun, but like the first name being George is,
it
yeah.
It was a wink at Orwell. But anyway, I just love her character. She gets in this car and she's driving through the woods and like the whole world is coming apart and the aliens are invading all at once because she accidentally hypnotizes them into suggesting a dream. And it's just I love her. She's amazing. She's my hero. I want a Heather to come for me when I lose my mind.
I mean, the scenes with Heather and Orr are my favorite in the book, where they're like these are the quotes I was mentioning. I shared with Lady Ash. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made like bread, remade all the time, made new. I think that's something everybody needs to hear. I think it's so true. I think if you just let your love lie there, it's not gonna last. You know, I think you have to make a decision to love the ones you love over and over and over and over again.
I agree with
That's what
that.
I also highlighted that. It's one of my favorites. I think I'm gonna remember that and use it again in the future.
The other one was, but now his dry and silent grieving for his lost wife must end, for there she stood, the fierce, recalcitrant, and fragile stranger, forever to be won again.
Yeah, I think that their relationship really gets to the core of a lot of what a romantic relationship is actually like, past the romance. Does that make sense? So, like, you you do choose. You choose to love somebody, and you have to choose it every day, and you have to renew it every day, and I just love that part of their relationship.
Yes, I fully agree.
So, this is gonna be so disjointed an episode, I'm sorry, guys. Haberman is actually a very scary character.
Yes, yes, he is.
What is the most scary thing about him?
He strangles Orr into unconsciousness.
When he kills 6 billion people and nary a thought about it.
Oh man, yeah, he's totally unremorseful. That's crazy.
And the weirdest part about that is he actually blames George, or that George killed the person. He's like, "You always,
And
like,
the
I tried."
gaslighting. Oh, the
Yeah,
gaslighting was
he's
terrible.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, "Your brain just screws up all my suggestions. If I had done it, it would be perfect."
And then he does it, and he's destroyed in the Lathe of Heaven.
good for him.
Yeah.
Not sad.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Right.
Earlier, you described, well, she self-described Heather as a Black Widow. I want to highlight I want to read the passage from the very first paragraph in the book, which is, first of all, very beautiful, very evocative, and thematically relevant to our protagonist. Or it says, current born, wave flung, tugged hugely by the whole might of the ocean, the jellyfish drifts in the tidal abyss. The light shines through it, and the dark enters it. Borne, flung, tugged from anywhere to anywhere, for in the deep sea there is no compass but nearer and farther, higher and lower. The jellyfish hangs and sways, pulses move sight and quick within it. The vast dismal diurnal purgers beat in the moon-driven sea, hanging, swaying, pulsing, the most vulnerable and insubstantial creature. It has for its defense the violence and the power of the whole ocean to which the entrusted its being, its going, and its will. Like, that is some of the finest opening paragraph I've ever read. And not only because it's beautifully put and it's poignant and it's just so relevant to the rest of the book, and it sets up what is going to be explored in the story so perfectly. And again, later, he's literally described as a jellyfish by Haber.
Mm-hmm.
And did you notice the aliens all have flippers too? A lot of these people are likened to animals inside the ocean.
They look like turtles standing on their hind legs, yes. In their spacesuits because they're from a methane-based planet or something.
Yeah, but the metaphor here is the ocean being the currents of life and how you can't really worry about it, and it's wonderful.
Yes, it's beautiful. And I also like how it's about not all power is this there's many types of power. Like,
Mhm.
not all power is the same power. Does that
But
make sense? Like,
this works with what you were saying earlier, and how some things are mutable and some things need to be moved against it, and some things that cannot be
right,
changed for the the metaphor of the ocean.
right. I'm agreeing. I was just giving you a bad time.
I
I
appreciate it.
mean, I actually highlighted another quote that actually fits quite well with that point. Or slept, he dreamed. There was no rub. His dreams, like waves of the deep sea far from any shore, came and went, rose and fell, profound and harmless, breaking nowhere, changing nothing. They danced the dance among all the other waves in the sea of being. Through his sleep, the great green sea turtles dived, swimming with heavy, inexhaustible grace through the depths in their element.
I got chills. I literally have chills.
She's such a good writer.
I feel bad because I didn't
She's
take
a
notes.
writer's writer. Like I've been talking about Le Guin forever. People need to read her nonfiction stuff because she talks about writing. And if you care about like fantasy and science fiction, read her other stuff. It's really eye-opening.
I don't know if I've actually read any of her nonfiction. I've read a lot of her fiction.
Look at this. It's very good. It's called Language of the Night. Look at that cover. That's pretty cool too, right? A
She had
dragon
nothing to do with
straddling.
that.
Yeah, but it's relevant to what's inside the book. It's a dragon riding a rocket. It's great. I highly recommend it. It's essays on writing science fiction and fantasy.
The rocket is Dr. Haber.
Actually, I guess I might have read some of her nonfiction. It was the opening to, or the prologue to, the Two Sides of Dark, or Two Faces of Darkness.
Left
You
Hand of
know?
Darkness.
The Left Hand of Darkness. Yeah.
Yes. She has a very interesting essay at the beginning of that, and it's interesting. She talks about lying to tell the truth, which is just
I think that's in this book actually. Yeah.
probably.
I just want to say, it's wonderful that we got two of the greatest writers, both friends and living concurrently, Gene Wolfe and Ursula K Le Guin. I think it's beautiful.
She's not alive anymore.
Yeah, neither is Gene Wolfe. I'm saying it was wonderful that they lived together at the
Oh,
same
I see what
time.
you're saying. I was gonna say,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their styles of storytelling feel at once similar and totally different to me.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not like Gene Wolfe. I'm just gonna say, I'm not saying he's a bad writer. I'm just gonna say I do not like him
How dare
personally.
you call him a bad writer?
Yeah, terrible.
Yes, he's terrible. I hate him.
I got it on right in recording.
He just aesthetically bothers me. It's fine. It's fine. He's
I think
fine.
he's a very masculine writer for sure.
That's very true.
Look, I am a masculine-ish woman. I mean, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's something else
Hmm,
about him. I
that's fair.
read mostly male authors.
He's got He's got a. I can understand why people would not like his style,
Yeah, I
and
get that.
I don't blame them for that.
It's sometimes I feel like he's showing off more than getting to the point. This is not about Gene Wolfe. This is about so would you guys recommend this book?
Absolutely. I mean, okay. 1 second. I want to tag on to that because I think we all agree Ursula Le Guin is a very smart author, right? She never, I think, it never feels like she's doing that. It never feels like she wants to
Right.
show off. It always feels like she's writing for like everybody. I think everybody should read her stuff, and there's a real depth to it, but it will meet you where you are.
And I would say
It's
that
well put.
this is a fun story. It's fun and weird and creepy,
Yeah.
and you
Very
don't have to think about
fantastical.
all the things.
It's like that style of sci-fi that isn't really written anymore, where it's like, very, very focused on the ideas, very bold with how it's going. Like we're not subjected to any explanations of how George's dreams change the world. They just do. They just do. It's you got to get on board with this premise. She's not going to write it out for very long. It's like the book is short. It's like 200-ish pages, and at the end, it's going to be ending, and the end has ambiguity to it.
Right, and you're having a fun adventure along the way. So you don't have to think about political implications or anything else.
I mean, you can if you want to, but she's not telling you like this is the like she's not preaching to anybody. I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
I will say something that's very interesting is that she has Mount Hood erupt, whatever, in this book. And about 6 months, maybe 9 months after this book was published, it was Mount St. Helens that went out.
Spooky.
So it's just weird. That's just a weird thing. Ashman has some listener questions for us.
Storm asks, what type of effective dream or change do you think you'd have if your dreams could shape reality like George?
This makes me think that Storm didn't read the book, and that the only correct
Right?
answer is I would choose not to affect a dream.
No. It's not a choice, right? You have these effective dreams. What effect would your effective dreams have on reality?
Oh, okay.
It would probably involve more and more gridlock in because normally when I remember my dreams, they're nightmares, and usually they involve traffic or somebody breaking into my house. So I guess it could be both. I'd be stuck in gridlock or I'll be burgled. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember my dreams, and they're often not interesting when I do. I get the sense not much would change. My brain likes to kind of reject the artificial realities of dreams. Like it doesn't jive well with dream logic.
Have you ever changed your dream while you're dreaming?
Sort of, but like if I try to experience things that I haven't experienced, then my brain's like, I don't know how to do that. So like flying, I've never had a flying dream, for example.
Really?
Really?
It's
Oh,
not- yeah.
I have. It's been a while, but I've had several lucid dreams. Often after. Do you know the movie, the Linklater movie, Waking Life?
no.
It's one of his early animated movies. It's really good. There's like no plot, but it's just exploring dreams and what they mean, and it's like inside a dream, and it's like him talking to people inside of his dream, and then visiting other dreams, and it's mostly a lucid dream, but sometimes it's not so lucid. I'd recommend it. I would probably dream about a world with no cars.
If that's just what you dream about, no cars.
It's just something that's on my mind a lot. I just really hate cars.
That's fair.
I will disagree. I love cars.
I just want to actually add one more thought. So here, and you said that the moral, the idea that's being conveyed by that story is you shouldn't do these kinds of effective dreams, right?
Well, it's not a choice. It's more like you need to go with the flow, and that trying to change the way things are will often end in unexpected and unintended and unwanted consequences.
I think that's true, but also like you said, like it's not a choice. These are going to happen. Like things are going to change, right? And you are going to have an impact on your reality,
world.
no matter what. It's you have to, and the world, yeah. And so the point is, like, you have to be careful I think. And you have to be mindful of the fact that these are going to happen. And you shouldn't try to force changes necessarily. But yeah, like be like kind of go with the flow.
Maybe I should read the chapter epilogue that talks about the Lathe of Heaven. That's okay. I'll just read it. Chapter 3, epilogue or epigraph is those whom heaven helps we call the sons of heaven. They do not learn this by learning. They do not work it by working. They do not reason it by using reason. To let understanding stop at what cannot be understood is a high attainment. Those who cannot do it will be destroyed on the Lathe of Heaven.
Which
Long
is
say.
I think it's a mistranslation.
It is. When
Yeah.
I read it's actually a pretty bad translation, but it works for what she's talking about anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I think.
So I would say that what I get out of this book the most is that we cannot form a utopia. Like it doesn't exist because other people have other responses to what we're doing. Does that make sense? And giving somebody all the power to sort of make all the changes ends in madness.
I'd like to point out that utopia literally means place that doesn't exist.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know it does. But that's what it's driving at. Like the doctor is trying to make utopia, and every time things go wrong, he's like, "Well, you just haven't tried utopia right."
It's because
Yeah.
I'm not
Come on,
doing it.
George.
Real
Get it right,
utopia's never been
George.
tried. Yeah. And like one of the things that George learns, maybe the only thing he learns, is that you need a little help from your friends. You like this is not something you can do yourself. Nor should you try. You should work together with other people perhaps and
The
let
way he brings Heather back by listening to that song and
the
dreaming.
Beatles.
It's like, oh, that's so cute.
You can really tell that like that this was not like a fanficky moment from Le Guin, but like clearly she was fond of the Beatles. Grew up
Yes.
with them, was deeply influenced. Wanted to have them in there.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening to us. I'm Little Red Book from the Green Team. Our music is Galactic Damages by Jingle Punks. Thank you, Craig, for loaning us a small corner of your media empire. And thank you, Horizon Brave, for starting us all. Good night.
Bye.
Later.